is pretty much closed. Classes at BYU, I'm told, are still
Hey
accessible
y'all,
for
I'm
anyone
at
who
78.
has
I was
been
out, had
wondering.
to go to a doctor's
Again, the
appointment. I
shooter
am
is
here, got home
still
fast as I
at
can.
large,
Y'all,
but
I
this is
hope
the
that this
scene
current
that we've been
report
looking
about
at for the
Charlie Kirk is
last
not true
couple
because
of hours
nobody,
now,
you
and
know
it
what I'm
is
saying,
going to be that way for
deserves
the
to
next
be
several hours
read wrong.
as they investigate and again look for that shooter.
And a lot of people watching at home right now who knew people who were there at the scene. Um, there are a whole lot of victims to this. Clearly, there's one victim who was targeted, Charlie Kirk,
Right.
and if President
Hey,
Trump
Skinny,
is
what's
correct,
going
and
on?
we have no reason to think that he's not, Charlie Kirk has died. Um, at the same time, this shooter um, also victimized a whole bunch of young Utahns
Hmm.
who were gathered there on campus to listen to someone many of them disagreed with, many of them agreed with, and they all were there when something horrible and violent happened. And they're not going to be able to forget that. And
No,
they are victims of this shooter as well.
absolutely.
And all of you at home who are watching, who have kids who go to this school, you know that that your precious kids
Yeah,
deserve better than
absolutely.
that. Hmm.
I've
This is what
gotten
I'm
a few
saying. Cause so
texts
this is
from
traumatized, man. Ain't
friends,
nobody got
folks who
time for
don't work
this.
in news, and
Yeah.
they're talking about how, we've had yet another, again, politically charged event that has ended in a death, the No Kings protests, which was that 2, 3 months ago,
Yeah.
in which someone who was
Yeah,
just
listen,
innocent and there
um,
to
Hmm.
be a
we're gonna
part of
talk
the
about that
protest
train
was killed.
situation because
Apa
I'm
Ayu,
actually in Charlotte,
you've
and so yeah,
dabbled in
it's
politics
been
here in
different
Utah.
here,
You've
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
covered
we gonna
politics.
get into
You
that
know,
because yeah, I'm about to
how
get
do
it
you
too.
feel like this has affected the political climate here, or how do you think?
Well, the rhetoric in general. I mean, this is who knows what happens from here, and this is a national story. This is going to affect
Right.
American
So yeah, I'm
politics
not a
because we had
I'm aware of who
President
he
Trump
is and you know what
shot
he
and
about.
injured.
And I mean, even if you ain't
This
agree
is a
with it, this
prominent
is not
person
how you
shot
need to handle
and
this.
killed,
Because from what I understand, a
and
transgender person
that's
did
something.
this.
It's a delicate situation already. American politics has been in a delicate place, and I'm sorry for the distraction. We should probably switch our picture back here because there's a wasp who's
This is
hanging out
ridiculous.
on
This
our
is
camera.
crazy.
But this is it, the thing that concerns me the most when we talk about young people is that this is the politics they've experienced.
Yes,
Someone who's younger than 25 years old
hmm,
has not been doesn't have a political memory that goes earlier
that's right.
than this era.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. And I talk to people who are, I'll say, older than me, and
Hmm.
they talk about, back in the 70s and 80s when there were lots of people who were on very different sides of the aisle, and there were
Yeah.
lots of things going on at that time, but it was never quite like this. And I hear people keep saying, I can't believe this is happening in Utah. This isn't Utah. But that's the thing,
Yeah.
everyone, everywhere. We've all got
Utah is
emotions.
America.
Exactly.
Utah is
Exactly.
America. Yeah.
And it's
That's what I'm
just
saying.
more than unfortunate that
And
this is what it has
for this to
turned
happen in
into.
Utah is surprising to
Like you
me.
said, you've used the word temperature several times today, and unfortunately,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
great.
Torrent, yeah, because
And it's
because
it's
stupid,
time to
just
step back
stupid,
and hear from people who are not trying to
just
make us
stupid.
angry.
Absolutely.
Hear from people who are not trying to get us all geared up to be hostile to each other.
Yeah.
If someone's trying to do that to you, then it's not a friendly thing. We've heard from a number of our reporters and crew there at the scene. Spencer Joseph was there.
Absolutely. We're going to hear from someone that he spoke with who was on scene and described what happened.
We were like second row. We were just looking up and we see, he was debating about shooting and was talking about it. And then we hear a shot and then just a wave of blood come out of his chest. And we all get down. I had a couple people trample me actually. So it was pretty horrific.
All right, so you're hearing from one of the students there. He was with a group of friends we heard from earlier about their experience at this event. And honestly, while I was watching him talk, I kept on looking to the left and to the right with his friends who are pretty distraught.
Absolutely.
Experienced that.
Yeah, the young woman who was standing next to him, I believe they're related.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking about how they shielded her when they had to get down on the ground, and she was obviously shaken up. She was crying, and that's kind of been the response of many of the people we've spoken with today. Folks were hiding in closets, people who didn't know what was going on in other parts of the campus. Obviously very scary moments.
And the young man standing next to the man who was talked earlier as well, and he said outright, "Hey, I don't agree with Charlie Kirk's politics. I was there to listen, and he was shaken up by the whole thing as well. Again, not a liberal conservative thing."
Absolutely. I'm hearing that we have more reaction from Governor Cox. Did I hear that correctly? Yes, there you go. As you can see, I just got off the phone with President Trump, working with the FBI and Utah law enforcement. We will bring to justice the individual responsible for this tragedy. Abby and I are heartbroken. We are praying for Charlie's wife, daughter, and son.
And then this from Senator Mike Lee. Charlie
Child, this is crazy.
Was an American patriot and inspiration to countless young people to stand up and defend the timeless truths that make our country great.
Right. So obviously this is reaction coming in now that President Trump has said he is dead, that Charlie Kirk is dead. We were getting lots of reaction earlier when the reports were that he was in critical condition. So obviously now things are different, that we are learning he has passed, according to President Trump.
Yeah, it's and there are a whole lot of people responding on social media or speaking on social media, including Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall saying that what happened was abhorrent and un-American, no place for political violence in our society. And there was also I'm sorry, I shouldn't be scrolling through social media while I'm talking to you.
I'm gonna shout. That's where the information is. You here to dispense information, sir.
But what I was trying to get to was that Erica Kirk, who's his wife, she did post something, and it was simply a psalm.
So if that's where the info is, that's where the info is.
And Governor Cox said in that statement there, he made mention of how he is a father. He's got 2 young kids, and that is something to think about.
Yeah. Well, and this is something, Robin, you've unfortunately you were in I believe the San Antonio area. That's covering right. When there was the Uvalde shooting there, and we've all covered horrible events, and horrible in different ways.
Yeah, I can tell you, for everyone involved, when you cover something like that, you just realize the magnitude of it, and that whoever was there will forever be changed and will not be the same. It is very traumatic, and obviously we've heard from many people there on the UVU campus today who saw what happened. And
I was just going to say, I understand that we do have some comment from students who were there and who talked with Spencer, I believe, earlier today.
I just thought it was going to be like a fun event, and you see Charlie Kirk all over social media, and man, just you hear the pop, and then you just see like hit his chest, and then just blood squirted out of him all over the table, and he just fell over, and I just I'm shaking, and I didn't get to the ground at very first because that just wasn't my reaction. And then my brother pulled me down, and he put his body on top of me, and then Ethan came and put his body on top of me, and everything just happened so fast, and everyone was running and screaming and saying get down, and it just didn't feel real in the moment, especially the blood. I'm still really shaken up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've heard similar stories from many other people today, and you know, they will be shaken up for a long time,
For a long time.
for a while.
It is. This is the kind of thing that it'll shake people up who simply saw it on television or on social media. Uh, to recap, Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, 31 years old, prominent conservative activist, a mover and shaker in Washington, D.C., and on college campuses where he has events like this around the country, was shot at Utah Valley University at about 12:20 today. And President Trump is reporting that he has died as a result of that shooting. And so we are on air with this breaking news, giving you everything that we get as we get it.
That's right. I mean, the video you're seeing now was before the shooting. You can see it is a large crowd.
Yeah.
There were so many people there, and you know, now we're talking about how students and faculty were trying to get off campus. So imagine all of these people who are trying to leave campus. I believe, as Spencer told us earlier, that it's clearer now than it
Yeah.
was earlier. But I mean, this is a lot of people.
A lot of students there, and then it's a school day. A lot of students in classes around there as well.
That's right.
One of the students in attendance got pretty emotional about the whole thing. I'm sure a whole lot of them did, and you can listen to what he has to say here.
I don't want to scapegoat anybody. This is a tragedy. And I don't agree with Charlie Kirk. I agree that he has the right to say what he says. I pray for him and his family. He's a father, he's a husband, and I hope and I pray he pulls through and he can recover from this horrific act by hopefully a lone actor and someone who does not represent our school or our faith or our state, and hopefully he doesn't represent our country either.
Again, yeah, you just made reference to him saying that, the young man who said that he does not agree with Charlie Kirk's stance on things, but obviously this is very, very wrong. Now, who we have not heard from yet are law enforcement, police. Ben Winslow is live with us on maybe when we will be able to hear from them. Ben?
Yeah, that's right. We understand the Department of Public Safety is planning a 4 o'clock news conference where they will update us on everything we have. You can see still very much a dynamic situation. Look at this right here on this campus here, this Utah County Metro SWAT unit pulling up here again. What we've been observing is they have been going building by building, clearing them. In the past, we have seen some students who have been leaving the buildings with their hands in the air as what we assume is law enforcement who are clearing the scene here. But I'm by the entrance to Utah Valley University. We have seen some police officers leave the scene here, while again, you see units like the Utah County Metro SWAT team coming in again in force. And we've been watching them certainly as they have been going in and coming out of a lot of these buildings centered around where the shooting was. Just so that you know that this is not the only scene that is happening here on Utah campuses. In fact, this is an alert that was passed on to me by the University of Utah, saying that University of Utah Public Safety is in close contact with local, state, and federal law enforcement peers. Additional public safety patrols and layers of security will be present at university events today and the rest of this week. You can expect that to be happening pretty much on campuses all across the state as they react to the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Again, what we have been observing, though, out here at the scene is still a number of police officers. You can see a Salt Lake City police vehicle has arrived. We got police from all over, basically the Wasatch Front, who have responded to assist in this. From what we understand, the person that was detained earlier has been released, and they are still very much looking.
Oh, hell, they don't even know who did it.
Who shot Charlie Kirk. We're now watching, I am watching some police officers starting to run into their vehicles as some of the vehicles are starting to accelerate out of here at a high rate of speed. It makes me wonder if they maybe at least have an indication of potential sighting of a suspect as they obviously continue to work this very dynamic scene. this very active scene that's happening. Again, though, I will point out we have a 4 o'clock news conference that we are being told will take place by the
4 o'clock in
Department of
Utah,
Safety
6
and
o'clock on
other
the East
public
Coast.
officials will be participating
We're
in
in
this.
2
And
hours
of course, we
behind.
hope to find out
We
exactly
still got about
what
50
is happening.
minutes.
But as you can see, what we're observing here on the scene, a number of vehicles are starting to leave here at a high rate of speed. Again, we do wonder if they are close to, or at least, making some progress in the shooting investigation. Perhaps something is happening, unfolding as we speak. I'm going to try to find out some more information and get back to you.
We will let you do that then, because that did look like there was suddenly some urgency.
Absolutely.
And not that they lacked urgency for that, but they were being very deliberate in what they were doing. And then all of a sudden, you see them driving very quickly. Another thing that we did see, and this just tells us also that that our photographers are every bit the journalists that our reporters are, because while Ben was talking, our photographer Manuel focused in, and we saw that there was a University of Utah truck arriving, a University of Utah police truck arriving to the scene, as Ben was talking about, the you also being concerned and in conversation with the Department of Public Safety.
That's right. And that's the thing about situations like these, developing situations, evolving situations, is we're watching this unfold like everyone else. So you at home, we are figuring things out as you are as well. We are literally watching this in real time. So
but the two of us are just the front-facing staff of a whole bunch of people behind this wall behind us here, who are working feverishly to get every bit of information to you. And so and that's how it works, and that's what's happening. But that is what's happening here. So we're all learning about this together. And we have some good folks who are trying to help us all out with that. I understand that Adam Herbetz.
That's right.
Is on the scene.
He is where Bob was a little bit ago. Hey, Adam.
Yeah, hey Max, hey Robin. Just for safety reasons, we're starting to consolidate our crews into teams of 3 and 4 instead of just our standard unit of 2. Not because we think there's any reason to be scared.
Hell, at this point, you don't know.
Dangerous situation. We're about across the street from Utah State University. Of course, Ben and Spencer have been doing a great job of explaining what's going on with the police investigation as they try and figure out if there is an outstanding shooter on campus somewhere for the police to find. Meanwhile, I'm trying to piece together the timeline of what happened during the shooting. And very soon after it all happened, I got a text from someone I've interviewed before on previous stories. His name's James Gaffney. And James, if you could walk into frame here with me. You texted me very quickly after it happened, and you were very close. Can you tell me what you saw?
Yeah, I was like 15 feet away. Well, if you can even see it on there, it's very close. I can't believe it didn't seem real at first. Not at all. I thought it sounded like a firecracker almost. So it must have been a couple of shots that got fired. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing him go down. And I'm like, what? And then all of us are going down. And then about 30 seconds later, people start moving. And I start walking past the car that they had him in. And there was a guy outside of it with blood all over him. And I'm hearing guys saying, we need to shut this area down. And just people are walking, but no one's running from where we're at. They must have been
already been gone.
Running where we were.
I'm bleeding like that.
This isn't right. This is so stupid. It's like every shooting is from radical leftists.
Retard.
I'm so tired of it.
Oh, that's how they got Kennedy was in the net.
Safe. I probably will never go anywhere without my gun again. If they think that shooting him is going to make it so that our resolve is less, you got another thing coming, because there is going to be a movement because of what he did. We are not going backing down from this.
It's going to be a movement, y'all.
Based off the photo you showed me, and obviously very hard to see with the brightness and the phone and everything, you were what, 3rd row, 4th row? You saw it
There was only
right
3
away.
people in front of me, and I had a direct shot, and I can hardly believe it happened. I love Charlie Kirk. This is so stupid. And I will not be shaken in my faith with what he was doing. So, yeah, sorry.
From what I know of Charlie and from what I've heard from other people that came out to see him speak today, he encouraged people who disagreed with him to show up and to stand in the front row. Obviously, it sounds like you agreed with him. You were very up close. Did you see it happen? Did you see him get shot?
Yes. It was right in front of me. I thought it was fake. Like, it was, I don't want to go into the detail. It was so crazy, just so much. I had no doubt that there was no way he survived this because of how much I saw. And he is. He's not with us anymore, and this is so stupid that it's happening here.
You were telling me earlier today the format of the event. It sounded like people were lining up to ask questions. Maybe there was only one question asked, two questions asked before this happened?
It was way too coincidental with this person that was asking questions about transgenders being banned from having guns, which I totally agree with. You guys are off your rocker. Like, seriously, like, we don't have to agree with what you are.
When did that happen?
Be you, but stop trying to force it on us and stop pushing your ideology on us and going to this radical with it. Like, I don't get it. So they're talking about that. And right when they're talking about that with this guy, this is when it happens. And it seemed way too coincidental at that point. I mean, he should be talked to. Whoever was asking that question, the timing seemed way too convenient.
James, thank you for telling us what you saw from your perspective. I did talk to other witnesses as well earlier today. Many of them said the same thing as James, that same question, immediately after being asked, before he had an opportunity to answer Charlie Kirk being shot. I'm told by the witnesses I've talked to in the neck. Of course, President Trump announcing that Charlie Kirk did not survive that gunshot. We're still trying to confirm things on our end to see if that's true. Of course, James here has a lot of the same questions a lot of us do. Is it politically connected? Obviously, Charlie Kirk is a very politically outspoken person. So right now, everyone is questioning, some assuming that this was politically motivated. And of course, things that the police and investigators are all going to try and figure out in the coming days. Right now, it sounds like they have their hands full, not looking into a motive, but looking into a shooter. We heard from multiple witnesses that somebody was taken into custody very shortly after the shooting, but we are now told that either that person was not the shooter or that there is another outstanding suspect. So we are all waiting for updates on that so we can bring them to you. But what we do know so far is the timeline from the witnesses we've talked to seems to match up. It happened very early on in the event. It happened immediately after that second questioning comments that President Trump made earlier in the week about gun rights for transgender individuals. But again, right now, no way of knowing if that question has anything to do with the motive. We're live in Orem. Adam Herbets, guys, we'll go back to you.
All right, Adam Herbets, thanks so much. And just as we recap, something to say. One bullet,
Right.
one shot,
Right.
one shooter. And as we look at all of our crews out there and we see the people behind them, hundreds of police officers,
That's right.
thousands of students, thousands of parents wondering how their students are. We can't draw conclusions about how the world is because of one person doing one thing, and we don't know who that person is or what their motivation was. And
That's
so
right.
we want people to be able to say and share their emotions. We just want to make sure that we're not reporting that this is who the shooter was. We don't know who the shooter was.
We
and
don't.
hopefully police are able to track that person down and we'll learn more.
That's right. Well, yeah, you do want to give people the space to share how they are feeling after something traumatic like this happens. And that is our job.
Yeah.
But again, to reiterate what you said, we are not reporting it as fact. There's a lot of facts that need to be checked out over the next several days. Earlier, we were joined by Scripps News Group reporter Haley Bull. We're going to go back to Haley to get reaction out of DC. Anything new since the last time we spoke to you, Haley?
Yeah, President Trump has ordered all American flags to have staff in honor of Charlie Kirk. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see here at the White House. We are waiting to see this flag that sits atop of the White House. be lowered. The president ordering this, announcing he was ordering this on Truth Social within the last hour. I have seen a couple White House staff pop by appearing to watch this as well. There are a number of journalists also waiting to see that happen. The president writing on Truth Social, rather announcing Kirk's death on Truth Social within the last hour or so, saying, quote, "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania, my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you." The governor of Utah indicating that he spoke with President Trump this evening, noting that they are working with the FBI and Utah law enforcement. The attorney general did say that the FBI and ATF were on the scene assisting. Now, Kirk, someone who is a significant and influential conservative voice, especially among youth, and especially in President Trump's MAGA movement, Make America Great Again movement. He is someone who is close with President Trump and top officials here in the Trump administration, someone who President Trump has frequently spoken highly of, given gratitude for his work with the youth. Kirk founded the group Turning Point USA, which is an organization, a self-described conservative youth activist organization that aimed at organizing youth at high schools and college campuses across the country. Kirk was no stranger to going to different campuses to share views, frequently engaging with people across the political spectrum. But we are seeing just a litany of statements come in from officials here in Washington, D.C., sharing kind words about Charlie Kirk and sharing their prayers for him and his family. So certainly this is news that is felt, needless to say, felt very deeply here in the nation's capital and at the White House, guys.
All right, Haley Bull from the White House with the latest on the response there. Haley, is there, it's unusual for us to get confirmation from the President of the United States on a death like this. We were here in our newsroom usually waiting on law enforcement to give us that kind of information or medical personnel. I don't imagine. Do you have any idea how that came through first from the president rather than through other channels?
Well, it is a good question. Certainly, the president is no stranger to making announcements via Truth Social. Certainly, this one is one we haven't seen before, but the statement itself speaks to how close and highly regarded Kirk was by President Trump and his influence within Trump's movement and the Trump administration as well.
Girlfriend, let me be quiet. Go take the time for that. I'm gonna keep them comments to myself. This is a serious matter. I'm gonna keep them comments to myself.
From President Trump. We haven't heard that yet. We do expect a news conference around 4 o'clock from the Utah Department of Public Safety, but we haven't gotten official word aside from that Truth Social post from the president that Charlie Kirk has died from this.
That's right. And I hate to keep saying, as I have covered events similar to this in the past, I believe the first time we got confirmation of something was from someone higher up, like the governor, per se. So
it's entirely plausible. Yeah.
Right. So, and I'm seeing Kamala Harris comment on social media now too. I am deeply disturbed by the shooting in Utah. Doug and I send our prayers to Charlie Kirk and his family. Let me be clear. Political violence has no place in America. I condemn this act, and we all must work together to ensure this does not lead to more violence. Hearing from a lot of politicians in the last several hours.
And unfortunately, we're still just waiting for more facts to come in. And so the facts we know. Charlie Kirk was shot in Utah Valley University, about 12:20. There were hundreds, if not thousands of people there listening to him, most in support, some protesting, everything peaceful until one gunshot was fired, one shot rang out, and then Charlie Kirk was hit, and we're told he is dead. Our reporters immediately raced from the newsroom and from other places where they were covering other stories.
That's right. And they've been speaking with witnesses since we first learned that shots were fired. Here's what some of those folks had to say.
I heard a loud bang, which I figured a shot would be a little bit louder, but I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he like fell over and slumped down, and everybody got down and was screaming, and then we all ran.
We were like second row. We were just looking up, and we see, he was debating about shooting, and he was talking about it, and then we see we hear a shot, and then just a wave of blood come out of his chest. And we all get down. I had a couple people trample me, actually, so it was pretty horrific.
So I saw it, and I immediately just couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing. But like a few seconds after,
I need to figure out what we do about damage stuff. We got to hear this help.
Super scared.
We just thought today was another Wednesday.
Because I have a feeling the person is going to speak on this.
We're supposed to do, and then someone comes in running frantically saying, "Oh my God, there's been like a gunshot." We didn't believe it at first because Utah County is pretty safe. UVU has been a safe space for me and her and my coworkers. I've been here for like 4 years. Nothing of that sort has happened. And so seeing this all together tie up, it's very crazy, very surreal.
Again, much of what we've heard today, it was just a regular day, and this is what it has turned into, scary moments for a lot of people. And we are hearing reaction from across the state and from across the country.
And across the political spectrum as well. Here's what the governor had to say. I just got off the phone with President Trump. Working with the FBI and Utah law enforcement, we will bring to justice the individual responsible for this tragedy. Abby and I, the First Lady of Utah, are heartbroken. We're praying for Charlie's wife, daughter, and son.
And then we have reaction from Mike Lee. Charlie Kirk was an American patriot, an inspiration to countless young people to stand up and defend the timeless truths that make our country great. This murder was a cowardly act of violence, an attack on champions of freedom like Charlie, the students who gathered for civil debate, and all Americans who peacefully strive to save our nation. The terrorists will not win.
Wow.
Charlie will. Please join me in praying.
Oops. Sorry, y'all. My bad.
So
yeah, and then I understand we have a statement from the Salt Lake County Democrats.
That's right.
These are the folks on the Salt Lake County Council who are Democrats, got together and sent this out. The Salt Lake County Council Democratic Caucus unequivocally condemns political violence in all its forms. Our thoughts are with Charlie Kirk and everyone affected by today's tragic shooting at Utah Valley University.
Regardless of political affiliation, every Utahn and every American has the right to express their views freely and safely. It is our shared duty to engage our differences with respect and civility, not with violence.
All right. Our own Taylor Stevens, investigative reporter, has been looking into another part of this. Give us some context about a petition to prevent Kirk from speaking. It circulated online prior to the shooting. And Taylor, what do we know about that petition and who was behind that?
Well, this petition appeared on the website change.org earlier this week. We don't know exactly who started it. The website said it was created by an anonymous contributor. The petition said Kirk had become known for his divisive rhetoric that often supports policies and laws which aren't inclusive.
This is my thing. If you don't like what somebody's saying, don't listen to them. But why are you trying to stop them from speaking?
With Utah's Valley's university's ideals of, quote, inclusivity and diversity. The petition called on the university to reevaluate the decision to allow Kirk to speak, saying that a reconsideration would champion, quote, a campus environment where every student feels welcome and respected. The petition had nearly 1,000 supporters and more than 50 comments as of just a few minutes ago. Many of the comments raised support for the petition, with one calling Kirk an alt-right influencer and another saying that hosting him is despicable. Max, Robin.
Thank you for that, Taylor. That does give us additional context.
Some context, and it shows part of what civil debate looks like.
Right.
Like a petition. You show up, you protest, you don't shoot.
That's right.
Man, this
and
is
obviously
crazy.
there were many students there to do just that, to protest, as we heard from many today, some who were big supporters of Charlie and others who were there to, be there in the spirit of debate. And
I know that a lot of folks watching, they're not so familiar with Utah Valley University because they're watching us from St. George or Blanding or somewhere distant and haven't been there in a while. Utah Valley University it's a massive school.
Yes,
the
beautiful
biggest,
campus.
Beautiful campus. You can see from above there that courtyard where this happened, and you see those steps of the amphitheater. It's a beautiful place. It's a place where when you're in the student center, which from our perspective is immediately above and behind that dot, that's where you get food from the food vendors. And you can walk out onto that plaza and just enjoy that atmosphere and study and read. And every now and then there's an event. And a whole lot of students went to this one. Utah Valley University is not a place that anyone would consider radical in any way, and a place where a whole lot of students feel welcome and get a chance to get an education.
Yeah, I mentioned to you earlier, I've done interviews for different stories there, and
that is a pretty campus,
so nice and bubbly.
It's a great go-to, isn't it?
It is.
They're always open to sharing things with you.
We're continuing to follow this. Obviously, a developing.
I don't.
The shooter is still at
I don't
large
know.
as far as we know. Heavy police and law enforcement presence there. We haven't taken a look.
Yeah, because if they don't, if the law enforcement don't know who they're looking for, how folks on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram know who did it? Like, y'all, come on. Of course, black people gonna take this.
The goal is to find whomever did this as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'm just noticing online
appreciate that.
Former President Barack Obama has issued a tweet on X saying we don't yet know what motivated the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, but this kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy. Michelle,
you know what, Barack?
For Charlie's family tonight.
You could have helped get rid of some of this when you was president. But what was you doing?
That's right. That very sentiment coming from so many others today as well. We do want to send it out to our reporter, Julia Sandor. We were just saying we haven't had a live look at the scene in a while. Julia, what are you seeing?
What you got for us, Julia? Come on.
Yeah, we're actually in front of the UVU Fountain Courtyard, which is where that event was held. I'm going to just step out of the way so you can get a look at kind of the mess that's left over right now. You can see behind the caution tape, their tent.
I won't be out there cleaning none of that up.
Originally is still out there. You've got a bunch of trash and people's belongings on the steps where they were lined up earlier. And again, there were hundreds of people out there. And some people I actually spoke to one student who was in a classroom at the time that she said was really close to this courtyard, near the Fountain Courtyard. And they were shocked when they heard the noise. They heard a bang, hid under their desks. It was just kind of
yes, he did, TJ. Absolutely.
And they were scared, but they were able to keep calm and get out of there. And again, we've talked to several students on all different parts of campus, just about what they're seeing and what they're doing. And again, with the campus being closed, they really, some students don't know where to go, but all they want to do is make sure they're safe along with their friends. I heard some people making phone calls earlier, checking in with their parents, just to let them know that they're okay, because again, there's still some unanswered questions. But right
call your parents, because if their parents is anything like mine, listen,
now it's empty, and all we see are cops going.
If your kids from college, they had a whole new meaning.
Some cops going through the building that's behind me, all their gear on, and again, it's just an interesting sight to see right now, empty except for cops and those flashing lights. I know we brought up that there was a bunch of different agencies here. I've seen Salt Lake City Police, I've seen South Jordan. Really, all people from all over the Wasatch Front are here to help. Again, we're going to continue to talk to people and find out more as soon as we do, but I'll send it back to you guys in studio for now.
And before we let you go, Julia, I did want to get a sense from you of what we're seeing, what's behind you, and that is it really does bring it home to see that everybody just left their stuff.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
leaving stuff is not something that modern people tend to do.
No, we
You
love
know,
stuff.
our phone,
Mhm.
our, whatever. I'm sure there are still laptops in those backpacks
Right.
that are left there at that
You know,
scene.
some low life
But
gonna
Julia,
come
I
and
don't know
rummage
if you
through
were
all of
still,
that.
with us, but I was wondering about the police presence in front of you, and just hope that you're staying alert and safe. If they've given you some indication that you can go to where you are, and safely you can be where you are, because that shooter's still at large as far as we know.
Yeah, definitely. And we're safe where we are right now, kind of in our spot. We're behind that caution tape. But like you were saying, people don't typically leave their belongings behind. One of the students that I saw a little while ago, he had to use one of his professor's cell phones to make a call to his family because he had left it in the classroom. So it's just interesting to see what people do during this time, how they get from point A to point B, and kind of how that all happens in a moment of stress and a crazy time
Yeah.
like that.
Let's see.
Julia, we'll talk to you in a little bit.
I don't keep both my phones
Fox
out at the
13's
same
Tina
time.
Giuliano
If
is
I'm
live
out
with us in the
somewhere,
studio.
at least
Tina,
one
we
of them is in
understand
my
that you've
purse.
spoken with Pro-Life Utah about what's happened.
Yeah, that's right. Charlie Kirk is a prominent pro-life advocate. He's talked about abortion many times during his speeches and rallies. So I spoke with the director of Pro-Life Utah, Deanna Holland, who says she was there with her kids. She wanted to show her kids the movement that Kirk was creating. As a pro-life advocate, she wanted to show her kids that someone else with the same beliefs as them was also speaking out. And she also told me how the crowd was very friendly and respectful during the event. One of the questions that was said was about religious context, and he talked with respect for other religions.
You know, to be able to have someone that is that powerful of a speaker, he's very smart, he connects with this next generation, and this next generation is the up and coming generation that will be trying to fight for the lives of the unborn. And so, you know, we just love Charlie Kirk and everything that that he helps with in this pro-life cause. So, my son tells me that a girl in a Satanist t-shirt guided him underneath the bridge and told him everything was going to be okay. And that to me is where we need to be, right? So not only can we have conversations, but someone that I don't know, that we don't have the same political views, helped my son today.
She says that the pro-life movement is grateful for his support and her voice in their movement. She also says, quote, that Pro-Life Utah remains steadfast in their mission to protect life, which is inspired by Charlie's unwavering commitment to the cause, unquote. I'm sending it back over to you, Max and Robin.
All right, Tina,
Thank you so much.
And we have heard from another person who was a witness to this shooting.
Yeah, this is the student who asked Charlie the question moments before he was shot.
Ain't that who the dude was over there talking about go find him?
I agree with Charlie on a lot of things politically. So the only thing I didn't agree with him on was the concept of religion. And so that was the first question I asked him, was that Mormonism was more historically correct than Protestantism in regards to theology. And we had a nice conversation back and forth. We disagreed, of course. And then we kind of just ended it at that with the historical evidences. He tried to hold to the Bible a lot more in regards to archaeological evidences, which is not really what I was asking. But after I got done talking to him, I really couldn't exit because there's such a big crowd. So I turned around, and like 10 to 20 seconds later, after I got done talking to Charlie, I saw that he was shot in the neck and that he was squirting blood everywhere. But I was piecing things together, and it was really weird because the second guest that I talked to, before I went and asked him the question, what I was going to ask him, he was talking to him about how he was going to ask about transgenderism or something like that, but nothing about shootings. And this is the irony that came to me, which was like, right when he asked that, not like 5-10 seconds later, he was shot.
Well, right, yeah, and that's not the first time we've heard that today. Many people said that was kind of the topic of discussion moments before he was shot. But as you can see there, we have heard that there will be a vigil for Charlie Kirk at the Utah State Capitol Rotunda tonight at 7 p.m., and that will be hosted by members of the Utah House of Representatives.
All right. So, hearing from folks from all over who were there at this event, largely hearing from folks who support Charlie Kirk because that's who showed up to be a part of it. There were protesters there as well, and one shooter, and we still don't know who that person is. We hope police do, but we have yet to hear from that. We do expect there to be a press conference with the Utah Department of Public Safety sometime around 4 o'clock. Hopefully that indicates that they do know something more about what's happened, because that's a press conference a whole lot of people all across the country are going to be looking to.
Absolutely, a national story indeed. I mean, this happened around 12:20 today, and I remember getting online right after, and everyone already knew. Huge national story. Eyes will definitely be waiting for this press conference for sure, and hopefully we will learn more, and hopefully, like you said, the authorities know more about the potential shooter and their whereabouts, but we do not know who that is.
Yeah.
Not confirmed.
That is the biggest question that remains out there. Who was the shooter? And then, of course, once you know who, that gets you a whole lot closer to knowing why.
That's right.
We also don't know how this happened. We don't know if it was from a great distance or if it was from up close.
Right.
I asked the first person we interviewed when we came on air today about whether she was familiar with firearms and what she heard. She thought she heard something that sounded like a pistol, but other reports that I've seen online suggest a rifle.
That's right.
So it could have been from a distance. If it was from a distance, it's someone who was confident in what they were doing.
I mean, absolutely. One shot.
Yeah, just one shot.
One shot. That's it. Well, it seems like we are going to send it out to Adam Herbets and Bob Evans. They're together across the street from campus. What can you guys tell us?
Well, we are just south of UVU across University Parkway. The police presence out here remains strong, but from time to time we hear and watch police units with sirens and lights going. One most recently, a Salt Lake City unit that, well, we can hear more sirens now, that headed north on I-15 from this location. I'm not sure if you can hear those sirens right now, but traffic continues to be very heavy in this area, not as heavy as it was before, but the westbound traffic, of course, is very heavy because it's passing by the university, or Utah Valley University, and on that side of the street, the north side of the street, which police have controlled.
It's a lot better than it was. I was getting text messages from witnesses, second row, third row, fourth row. They were trying to get out as soon as they could, but they
Okay, y'all. I'm getting ready to end this live stream. Grab me something to eat real quick, but I will be back for the press conference.
That's why we're
I appreciate y'all stopping by. Like I said, we'll be back in a few for the press conference, so don't go far. I will see y'all instead.
So they couldn't get out. We couldn't get in. That's kind of why we're set up across the street.